Oh yeah, old man? This is what we're doing, old man? Have me go through 52 different emotions behind your ass for it to all be a lie, old man? That's how it's feeling? I need a moment. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss Squid Games. Now this is a show, it's available on Netflix, it's a Korean drama, and it's freaking amazing. Before I get into everything that happened in Squid Games, the really great characters, the really great character development, the imagery that was happening, the effects, the story, the build up, like all the essentials that made a great show were all here, and they did not miss a fucking beat. I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss all things the brilliance that is Squid Games. Hopefully subscribe to see more of me. Let's get into this show. Now, a little disclaimer before we start. I will be doing my best not to really say anybody's name here. I am not trying to butcher anybody's name. Ever watch 16 Candles, and you know when Long Duck Dong gets there and it's like grandpa have his hyena hurt, that I will be just to pronounce people's names, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, so I'd rather not just touch it. I may say it once, but act like you know who I'm talking about when I'm talking about him, because I'm just not. Now, getting into the premise of this show, we are introduced to 456 people who for multiple reasons are down on their luck. Some are in debt, you know, some are having whole life crisis, all kind of stuff going on. We meet an array of different people. You know, a young girl, maybe between the ages of 18 to 25, who is very guarded and selfish, all the way to an older man who is very optimistic, very excited, even though he is very elderly and he has a tumor. Now, every single one of these 456 people want to play in a round of 6 games for this grand amount of prize money. And you know, whoever is left and still standing and you know, went through the games and won, gets to split all that money by the 6th round and go home, right? Right. Now let's get into our characters and their introductions, and of course our first red light, green light game. Getting into all of these characters, I love a good flawed group of people. I love when writers and you know shows and movies don't take the easy way out and just give us a bunch of likable people and throw them all together, and you know we have all these people to root for, because why not? They're great positive people. No. Almost no one here has, you know, a really great positive spirit, outlook, personality, or attitude. Everybody here that we meet is in some form troubled. You know, not one character here is, you know, extremely likable, presumed innocent. You know, they're rude, they are desperate. We have thieves here. All kinds of fuckery. Now we get into Song Ji, and I hope that's right. you know, this is our main character, but is he extremely likable? No, not at first. He has a gambling addiction. He steals money from his mom. He drinks. He's, you know, very unruly, very on edge. He can't even, you know, take care of his daughter, let alone, you know, really be there for her on her birthday and do what he said he was going to do. He's lost his wife. He lost his business. He's in loan debt. And then we get into, you know, his childhood friend who is, you know, uplifted in their, you know, little small community as a college graduate. He's, you know, very, very smart. An investment company and all of this, you know, his sweet mother, you know, brags about and dotes on him all the time. And he is wanted and on the run from the police for stealing money. And he is immediately really, you know, silent and uneasy as a character at first, but we don't know why. But all that we can think of is, you know, oh my goodness, look at there. He coming into this game and he has someone to support him as a childhood friend. Oh, that's nice, right? And this is where I pause on, you know, my character introductions, because right away, as soon as the show begins, I love that, you know, that subtlety. I love some good subtlety. Getting through the entire show, there is this big statement made about, you know, humanity. What does it really mean to have humanity? Does it really mean anything to be compassionate for another person when it really comes to, you know, wealth? And it's just, you know, a question of what would people do for money? What do people do once they have it? And what does, you know, humanity really mean if money just can come and disrupt all of that and turn a person into something completely different? The show very subtly lets us know who has humanity right away within the first freaking episode. I was like, my nose was getting tense. Now, of course, we have our main character who, you know, is pretty tasteless as a damn person. How you gonna show up with a gun? Show up with a gun lighter. Like, you don't get that baby no good. She just wanted some chicken. Your mama said get her some chicken. But we have him, you know, really being passionate about his daughter. And we have him being really passionate about his mom, and him going and wanting to venture to the game is just not for a selfish reason. Yes, I am in debt. You know, yes, I do have all these long sharks and things like that after me, but I really want to help my mom. She's, you know, too old to be working as hard as she do. I want to be a better person and a better dad. I'm going into the game for these reasons. And then we have, you know, our young lady that we're introduced to, and though, you know, she may have this really hard exterior, and, you know, she's a pickpocket and she's this and that, and, you know, she's really hardened as a person, we know that deep down she's there to, you know, try to rescue her mom and rescue her brother who is in foster care, and she has, you know, I'm not here for self. And then we get into Abdul Ali, I believe, you know, our Pakistan refugee there, who is there for his family. I'm here for my family. You know, I had, you know, this mishap at work and I just need some help. I need, you know, some financial security for my wife and for my baby. And then we get into the old man. And of course the childhood friend, you know what, I said I wouldn't say anybody's name. We get into him. We get into the old man who is, you know, very, you know, it's very light. And it's just like, he's the oldest person here. Why? It's just like, you know, I have a tumor, you know, if I go out, I want to go out, you know, with a bang, with a kick, you know, hey, maybe I can win a little, you know. It's just so much enjoyment. Like, I know now, but initially watching it, I was just like, oh, you know, this is so cute. Look at him going to play them games. You better go, Paw. My dumb ass. And then we get, you know, into the childhood friend who is there for a selfish reason. I'm in debt. I have, you know, the police on my ass. I've embezzled all this money from the investment company. I'm trying to get this money for me, for myself. Meanwhile, we have, you know, our main character stopping, even though, you know, it's really hard to come across money. He's continuing to be in debt. He takes the time, you know, to sit, you know, give a stray cat some scraps. Like, it was just all there to let us know it won't go in well. Now, of course, we have to keep the cast interesting with really questionable characters like Jang Deok-soo. girl, you're right. Who is, you know, a ruthless thug. You know, he has the really big snake tattoo on his face. He's a brute. He will probably step on and over his own mama just to clear his massive debt. And he also has a history, you know, with our female pickpocket, and it's just waiting for any moment to seek revenge on her. And then we get into Han, child, it don't even matter what her name, let's just call her obnoxious, like the most obnoxious. You know, I'm a poor sinner. Like, did she even have a kid? Like, she was so as a character, you know, loud, wants to join the team for selfish reasons. I need to join, you know, the strongest team. I need to protect myself. The show lets us know right away who is solely there to protect self. Like, it's all about self-preservation. Very smart writing. Really fantastic fucking show. So after we get into the slap box game of life, I was like, damn, like, you gotta slap him like that just cause, like, of course, because, you know, it's all this Koreanness, the damn games have to be so intricate. Like, even the initial game just to get in, like, slap, like, my shit ain't flipped. Wow. Like, I love the symbolism of that. Like, it was so much here in the show. We get, you know, him enforcing pain for money. Like, the game told you what it was right away. Like, no, it's just not going to be you trying to, you know, flip this over or anything. If you don't get it flipped over, and I get yours flipped over, said slap, I get to inflict pain on your face. They told you what it was and you signed up for it anyway. Like, read the fine print, people. But, you know, after a little knockout gas and whatnot, we get into our first game of red light, green light in these really bright neon, you know, tracksuits. I love the color and the palette that's used to really enhance what's going on. You know, we have these greens, and of course we have, you know, the other side with, you know, the shapes on the mask and the hot pink, and of course we have Luca, I'm your father, this Darth Vader figure looming in the background, you know, shouting out commands. Like, it's just so much going on, and it really creates a really distinct separation between who is who and, you know, what represents what. But we get into the first game, and child, the games are made, not even just this one, they are made to create so much intensity. There's so much blood, so much gore, the way it's shot. We're right on top of someone as they get freaking shot in the chest, in the head. There's all this blood spatter. We even have this time clock. It's just so much intensity. And I love that, you know, right away, no one really knows what's going on, but once somebody actually gets shot, it's such a panic. And it's just like, you know what? I'm going to read the directions again. It's red light, green light. You move, you will be eliminated. Bop, bop, bop. And it's just so good. We really get into, you know, more of that self-preservation and people, you know, going and, you know, let me go and move. And it's just like, if you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. We even have the old man just, he's flowing by like a cool fucking breeze. But we have our main character who is just, you know, in shock. And it's just like that fucking time clock just going. But what happens? What happened when everybody get murked? We have, of course, we've had, you know, the best childhood friend, the college graduate. He's already crossed. He's already there. And at that point, he hasn't lost all of humanity, because he takes that moment to help him in the game. You know, hey, I think, you know, the giant doll has a sensor. She's sensing the movement. Stay behind someone. Keep moving. He's helping him. All hope is not lost, but you see gradually as the games go on, he fucking gets there amongst other things. But we have Abdul save him. Like, he's about to be out. You about to get shot, bro. And he holds him and holds himself up. And it just really lets you know the type of character that he is. Everything here is so telling. Even, you know, the pickpocket girl standing behind the young brute, like, yeah, I dare you to move, nigga. Run up on me again and ask me where I've been about your money, but run up again. Like, I'm willing to sacrifice your ass right here and now. I bet you won't move. Like, she's still, you know, kind of with the shits and having that I can't trust anyone mentality. So whoever I have to step on, you know, get through this game, that's what I'm going to do. But you see everybody's character progress so much throughout these episodes. The writing on this show was so good, so layered. So after we leave a full-on bloodbath and, you know, fly me to the moon and come dance among the stars. Let me see what life is like on Jupiter and Mars. You know, after we leave that. And everybody just have the revelation of, oh shit, this is not what I signed up for. This is freaking insane. And you know, they have it where if the majority rules, then the game is over. Everybody can go free, and the majority does, and everybody walks. And we really get into the question of what is, you know, humanity, or going back to poverty and problems. And it was like, is it really worth it? Maybe it is worth it to go through jeopardizing my whole life. I can be killed in these games. But what did I return to? I gave up this game to come back to, you know, my mom's still working hard. My daughter's still about to leave. We don't have any money. The police are still after me. You know, I still don't have any money to support my baby and my wife, or get my brother out of foster care. And we have everybody voluntarily go back. I love the premise of that, and it really speaks to the worth that money has, and just the value of it all, and what someone is really willing to do if they are in need of it. Like, I need this. I'm willing to put my life on the line. I love that, you know, this wasn't, you know, it was crazy, but nobody was forced. Nobody was, you know, really kidnapped. Nobody, you know, put a gun to their head and said, hey, go and play these games. Like, no, you signed up for this. You put your body on the line. You did this. Like, look at what people will do for the love of money. People will steal from their brother for the love of money. People will rob their own mother. Money, 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 money. Okay, I'm sorry. But I love that moment, you know, before we jump into episode 3, because episode 2 is really just a lot of revelations of, you know, I need to go back. What's here for me outside if I don't have any money to take care of my problems? I love when they, you know, instantly get out, and you have, you know, our main character with the pickpocket, and it's just still a sense of, you know, I'm not untying you, I don't trust anyone, and really, you know, giving us a really another great depiction of the type of characters that they are. But you have our main character, as soon as he gets out, what does he do? Because he is all about humanity and saving people, and this isn't right. We were forced to play these games. Well, you know, we didn't have full knowledge at that time of what was going on, and, you know, I need to contact the police. I need to do something. This isn't right. Like, it's not okay, you know, that I just got out. And you see, you know, him really feel 10 times that, you know, towards the end of the show, and he's really been through the ringer. But it's just like, you know, I got out, but they might try to contact someone else and have them play. We can't have that. You need to figure this out. You need to call someone, even though they can't do that because they're on this whole remote, you know, location on this island, unbeknownst to anyone. But you see him initially get out and do that. But what does the best, you know, friend, college graduate, my son went to college, what does he do? I love that you kind of have him build that bond with Abdul, and it's just like, oh, thank you, sir. You gave me cab fare. You brought me coffee. It's just like, it's nothing. Like, don't call me sir. Like, we're not friends. Like, he's so guarded, but he only helps him in the sense of, you know, well, you did help my childhood friend, and you didn't have to. You're cool or whatever. But it's just so, like, don't do that. I want nothing. I want nothing to do with anything you think that we can create here as far as friendship. Now, it would have been really easy for this show just to rely on the premise of the 456 people, you know, kind of fight to this whole kind of Hunger Games-esque scenario. That was more than enough to keep me fed throughout the whole series. But what does a good show do, huh? What does a well-written show do? Add on those layers. We have, you know, not only have people going back, but we have a officer, you know, a cop introduced who single-handedly goes into the game and search for his brother. You know, he's sneaking around constantly. He's gathering evidence. You know, it's this whole cat and mouse game. It's this will he or won't he get caught, adding more intensity. We also have a player who's a former doctor who knows the games beforehand. He's looking, you know, for the strongest team, and he's, you know, trying to horse, you know, kidneys and organs for people to sell, you know, to sell on the black market. And all the while we have, you know, the masked Luke, well, everybody's masked, but you know, the main guy shoving out punishment. You have all this distrust between, you know, the guards who are in the hot pink and, you know, are you who you say you were? And we're trying to do this. Like, everybody has their own little agenda and everybody's kind of a puppet all at the same damn time. All on top of the games. Now, once everybody really gets back, everybody really strategizes. And, you know, hey, I need to get with the strongest person here. We need to, you know, form a united front. And there's, you know, this big sense of, you know, if we all, you know, join together and if we all make it to the end, we can all split the money. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I really don't think they're gonna all make it to the end to split the money. I think only one person is gonna walk away with that money. And once we got to a certain shot, it confirmed that. But even though we have all that going on, you have, you know, people still kind of moving their own way and just kind of being a little iffy. But of course we have Abdul, who is just, you know, really an enchanted spirit and just so happy to have found, you know, somebody there who he can talk to, and sir, and you're so great. Like, he was just so positive. All the while you have our main character trying to, you know, entice our pocket thieves to, you know, join. We can protect each other. We're a team, and, you know, she's not really for it at first. And we also have him display even more humanity by taking in the old man that nobody can be bothered with. It's just like, out of every one of the 400 or so people who are here, that's the last person I want on my team. He has, you know, he offers nothing. He doesn't offer strength. He's, you know, really on his last leg. Like, what are we going to do with him? But not only does he take him in, but he's, you know, very active, really protective, really, you know, really listens to him when no one else does. And we're just sitting, you know, with our dumb ass like, oh, this is so sweet. But we also have, you know, the other tasteless characters, you know, tattooed on the face dude, joining with all the other brute ignoramuses all up and through here, and, you know, breaking shit and leaving, hauling ass, kicking ass, still, like, it is just like, ugh. And then, you know, there becomes a sense of, you know, there aren't really any boundaries here. We have our main character multiple times, you know, ask for help. Somebody get in here. They're fighting. She stole my money. So it's like, no, there aren't any rules here. So once we get the sense of, and the characters do, like, anything kind of goes in here, I can do what I want to do. The main thing is, you know, whoever gets that money gets it. If you don't, or you don't abide by the rules in the game, you die. But if you die outside of the game, we still add that money to that huge ass piggyback. Like, that was a whole game changer. Now we have, you know, our obnoxious, you know, hey, let me join your team. I can do everything. I'm like, girl, sit down. I just kept yelling, sit down. We have her running around and, you know, trying to join, you know, that strong alliance, improve her self-worth, sneaking that lighter in her vagina, that whole thing. And, you know, we have, who else? Our pocket thief chick. She's, you know, snuck a, like, shank. Look, I'm like, shank. She snuck, you know, a knife in, and she's searching. She's trying to find clues, and there's a little bit of, you know, team effort there on their part. You know, I'm still in the bathroom. Oh my God, it hurts. Like, who's believing that? But whatever. She's in the bathroom, and there's, you know, almost a sense of team. But our obnoxious chick recognizes, like, yeah, the team and the shit that you're on, they're not about nothing. I need to get with the guy with the snake on his face. They're about something. Wrong choice, girl. But after that, we really get into the moment that really changes the whole scenario. Now that we've had, you know, everybody kind of separating off into teams, and we get into, you know, the honeycomb, we've already had, you know, our pocket thief informed. He's like, yeah, she looks like she's, like, you know, they had a lot of sugar. They had a lot of, you know, trying to make, you know, a syrup. Like, I didn't know what was going on. But once they actually get into the playground, and it's just a sense of, you know, hey, do you remember this game? What shape should we pick? How should we move? Should we all get in one line? Should we? And you get the sense right away. You really know, like, he knows the game. He knows what's going on. He knows not to pick that goddamn umbrella because he's having, you know, former flashbacks. Very smart for the most part. All this college and he's so smart. He was very, very smart, but he just used it in his own little nasty way. But he allows his, you know, childhood friend to go and pick that goddamn umbrella. Now, this scene with the honeycomb and them trying to get it out with the needle, it was so intense. And at that moment, it really lets you know where his loyalties lie, and that even though he's on this team, he's still playing his own individual games because he's, you know, about investments, about money, and about numbers. And I'm sure that he realized in his mind, all of us together as a unit, you know, we're probably not gonna all succeed and end up with this money. So I probably need to just think about myself. Yeah, you get the moon and the umbrella and the I'm gonna go get the triangle. Now, I love that even after that moment, you know, once he's licked that honeycomb for dear life and him and the old man have gotten out, and then, you know, along with the rest of his team, he does realize, like, hey, I really feel like he knew what the game was going to be, and he had me pick that umbrella and didn't say anything. But that moment shows you the type of character that he is, and his belief in humanity, in a person, in his faith. Like, I have faith that even though he did that, maybe it was, you know, a momentary thing. I feel like at this point, if it was between me and him, and he would make the right decision. I feel like his main focus isn't self-preservation, and he still considers me a friend. Sweet guy. But for the most part, between that episode and, you know, the two directly after that one, we have so much going on, just so many layers. Not only do we have, you know, the intensity of the games in those moments where I'm like, oh, okay, we're really trying to get down to that one or two people really divvying it up and going head to head for that money in the end. Once we get, you know, to the revelation of, you know, they're giving them less food, there are these strategic things happening to the point, you know, that they create all this intensity behind that and hit the lights, and it's just like, you know, if he dies, he dies. I must break you. It gets real rocky in there. Like, everybody just goes ham on each other. The experiment, because we know, you know, towards the end that that's really what this is. All humanity, these are regular, everyday people who were on the street, you know, dealing with their debt, dealing with their crisis, dealing with their family, trying to do their best, that turned into straight salvages, because it's just like, you know, hey, you're gonna die anyway. You're gonna die in the game anyway. The money's gonna go in the bank anyway. Why not just kill a couple of people now? You even have him, you know, put on that strobe light. Now, getting into the old man. With him, you know, you have him coming in and out. He's joyful, he's down. He is, you know, he can't remember certain things, but he's really thoughtful. Every single game, he's really thoughtful. I remember this one. I was a young boy, like, he has so much to say, and we're just like, oh, he's such helpful, even though he's old and he can't do much. He be spitting knowledge. He's the strength. It's all about you, old man. He has all this knowledge. I love that when that whole, you know, rave is going on and everybody's killing each other and it's just this massive slaughtering going on. As soon as he stands up on the bed and goes, you know, we're all going to die in here. I'm so scared, which I do believe is, you know, real, because he really did have that brain tumor. He cuts it off. He's like, yeah, that's enough. Let's just, you know, cut it off and, you know, divvy up the bodies. I love how they come in, you know, with those black boxes with the pink bowl, like, oh, yeah, we're gonna lay you to rest. You know, it's a gift. It's not no damn gift. Like, we just died. Like, it's just so much going on. Not only do we have, you know, them forming friends, and, you know, there's so much friction. You have them, you know, saving other team members, like the, you know, the petty theft chick, and just, you know, having this really big sense of union, even though everybody knows anybody could die at any moment. And what does this all really mean? Especially if other people have their own agendas. But outside of that, we still see so many bonds form. Not only do we have that going on, but we have, the doctor getting the organs and the distrust because our cop is running around and everybody's like, you were supposed to be there, now you're here, you're not on time, we were supposed to go diving, you were supposed to collect this, you were supposed to shoot this person in the head. Why are you here, bruh? What's going on? Why are you speaking and you haven't been spoken to? Just all these, green lights, red lights, where I was like, how long is it going to take y'all to figure out? I love with the writing being so strategic and them not being able to remove their mask, just really enhanced him being able to run around and go, even though he's all in the bed strolling with his bright ass phone. I was like, cut the brightness down on that damn phone. I'm sure they're watching you. But you have that. Now that whole scenario with him trying to be in search for his brother and it being really intense, by the time we got to the middle of the episodes and we were somewhere around episode 5 or 6, I was like, oh, because I just started to, do cancellation. And I'm like, if it were one of the people in the tracksuits, one of the members, playing the games, he would have saw his brother already. And then once we get, into the hot pink and that whole situation, and I thought, maybe it could possibly be that. But I was like, 9 times out of 10, the way he's been able to remove her, and after, Luke, I am your father, the headmaster finds the badge, and it's just kind of ease as far as, finding him and, bring him back and find him. I need him now. Bring him back, unscathed, unharmed. I was like, I think that's his brother. But I was along for the ride, and it was, a really good journey before I realized that I really thought that was his brother. And of course it was. But of course we had to give us that shebang at the end with the surprise, because I ain't seen none of that coming. Now, getting into, the middle of the season, the intensity picks up so freaking much via the choice of games. We have, the tug of war going on. We have, we gonna get to the marbles. Everything gets so freaking intense. Not only do we have, we have to sleep in this one room. There's a lack of food. There's, my life could be in jeopardy. I have to be in defense and protection mode. Even with all of that going on, we still make a point, especially with our main characters, to have them all bond. Not only do they, kind of get into protecting each other as a real team, some of them, but we get into them really getting to know each other so far that, everybody's telling each other their names and their background, their stories. Why did they end up there? You see so much growth, and it's just like, how can you not form a bond with these people? What's going to happen when, we may have to turn on each other because we know it's coming. But, on the flip side, we have the other team. It's just all about what you can bring to the team, what you can offer, what's your lighter, what's, you being the doctor, knowing the games beforehand, the intensity of him just not being able to go back empty-handed. Like, if I don't know the game, they're going to kill me. I have to bring something to the table versus the other team. You just have to bring yourself. There was so much positivity surrounding them, especially between the friendships. Like, not only do we have the old man and our main character form such a great friendship, and he's so caring towards him, unlike, I was like, damn, you should have been this caring towards your mother on the outside. But I think that was a learning experience for him to know, we really need to cherish people while they're here. This old man is, about to be gone, but he's here for his family. And, he has so much to say, especially when we get to that tug of war game, and it's just like, hey, with the fist we can strike a mighty blow. He gave him the big mama talk. And it was just like, a script here and let's get here, because it was, I love, that talk when it's just, we need to all find men, and only men can get the job done. We don't want any women. We need to be, a strong front. We already have this old man. He has, his mind is constantly going, kind of like this dementia happening. He's, at this point, he's wet himself. It just seems like he's kind of getting worse as far as health. So no one sees him as an asset. But we have our main character there caring for this man so freaking hard. We even have, our petty theft chick warming up, getting that sense of team and support, and really, mighty blow. And you have them, when all they're just completely counted out, them prevail. And, We even have our whole obnoxious chick, when they getting it on, speak what she feels into existence. And we know, that whole foreshadowing, if you cross me, I'm gonna kill you. And we knew she was gonna kill him. We were just waiting. But it just gets really, really good. We even introduced to a new character, a young girl, who's there, and you see she has a complex with the annoying guy who's always praying every 2 seconds, and it's just like, oh, I was with a girl like, you so biblical to end up in here. But we have her have that complex, and later on we figure out why. There is just so much going on, and the episodes just get better and better and better and more intense. And we have, this sense of, protection. We're a team. We have to, look out for each other up until we get to those marbles. Now, by the time we've gotten to the marbles, we've had, multiple riots and fights, and people have gone missing. We've killed, the doctor at this point, and found out, about the organs, and people have gotten shot via the cop, and it has just been so much going on. We still have that goose chase going on for him. Once we get into that marbles game and you have the whole dynamics change, because especially with our, college graduate best friend character, you see his character change for the worse. After each game, he gets worse and worse until the main focus is just himself. And it's just like, whatever I have to do to prevail, that's what I'm going to do. I really don't want these women here. He just starts to get more and more like our butch snake face ass character by the day. Like, it's just so horrible to see. But meanwhile, we have, our main character looking up on him with admiration, and just like, are you really, getting this way? What if it was me? Would you do that to me? Like, it's like, just think, like, you don't have to be this way. We can all, there's still that sense of we can all, prevail and end up together with the money. And I'm like, no, y'all can't. Once we get to those freaking marbles, and you get into the sense that really a lot of humanity is lost on all parts, and we really get to know all of our characters. Like, we have them, all pair up into twos, and like, go Power Rangers. We all finna rock this shit until it's, we're all turning on each other. Whoever ends up, with all 20 models gets to walk out of here. It was such a sad episode. Like, the show sends you through so many freaking emotions. There's all this suspense, all this excitement, all this, happiness once you see a character you thought was going to die prevail. There's just so many layers going on here. So once we get there, it's just like, but that's your friend. But the old man is your friend. But Abdul is your friend. The only person there who tried to have the most humanity at that moment was the young petty thief. She had came so far at this point and befriended this girl. And by the time, they got to, okay, this is the game we want to play, and we're just really talking, getting to know each other and each other's really harsh family backstories, and then really play their marble game, and she doesn't even try, and she just kind of gives it to her, and she just doesn't want, just like, why is you saw so much humanity with her, and how hurt that she was that she did that for her, and she pretty much just died. It was so sad. Meanwhile, we have old Snake Face really playing those marbles, and then I was like, what the hell you mean, let's play again? You ain't gotta play again just because he said, but we don't need to play nothing. They said once I had these marbles, we were good to go. He want to play again with his one funky ass marble. No. But it's, them really turning on each other, and he prevails, and you see person after person getting shot. Those people getting shot and then calling out their numbers added so much. You just like, oh God. Number 3, oh God. Oh shit. It's like, and the characters are feeling it, and it's just like, oh my God. But you have him just, like, yeah, kill him, not me. He's just being that same nasty eager beaver that he is. Then we get into, Grandpa and our main character. they had built so much up until this point, and we had grown as an audience to be loved and love Grandpa for what he brought, all the, you know, knowledge and the wisdom, and it's just this and it's games, and we can do this and we can do it, and all that protectiveness they had around each other. No, you stand guard, I'll stand guard, you take sleep, you eat my corn. It's just all this love, this brother. But as soon as he realized, like, hey, it's me or you, he started to cheat the old man and play on, you know, his loss at the moment and him not being able to focus, and, you know, his tumor coming into play. And that old man, I feel like at that moment he was going, oh yes, this is the house and where I grew up and my kids were. He's like, focus. If you don't focus, I can't get the marbles. But that smart ass old man was getting the better of him and, you know, shouting out those numbers and getting the marbles up until he goes, you know, what number did I call out? Yeah, you said odd. You said odd. Oh, I guess that means you win. But once we get to the end of him really, you know, saying, you know, we're Gumbo brothers, we share everything. Like, I was going to let you have it anyway. Like, I'm going to protect you, my friend. You don't have to try to play me or dupe me to win these games. Don't do that. I'm your friend. And he just totally fucking breaks down. And we'll break it down with him as an audience. Like, it's so hard. And it's just like, gosh. And he remembers his name at that moment. And it's just so intense and so sad and so passionate. Like, he's saving me and he doesn't have to. And not only does he do that, but he gets shot for, you know. It was just so pulling at your heartstrings. And then we get into the fucking college. We get into him and Abdul. Like, I think that and the old man, that just took me out, because you just see him switch, like, just to just such a nasty person. Just like, how are you doing this? You must be cheating. You don't even understand the difference between odd and even. It's just like, no, I wouldn't do that. Abdul is the most precious, innocent little lamb of a man that you would ever want to meet. And he dupes him. And just finesse the whole situation, switching his marbles with rocks, like, pissed me off. Like, the way that he set him up, like, without a second thought, he was so comfortable. It's like he didn't even think twice. It's me or you. I don't really care. The whole, you know, some teams might have to finish. You go searching. Yeah, let me put this around your neck. It feels comfortable, right? Yeah, go that way. When he went and, you know, walked in, you know, I got these marbles, I didn't use any violence, ta-da, and walked in, you hear that, you know, player 199 is eliminated, and you know, you just want to punch somebody in the face. I just wanted him to get punched in the face. He didn't get punched in the face at that moment, but I needed him to get punched in the face. Abdul ain't never do nothing to nobody. He just shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been there. Now, once we get into episodes 7 and 8, and we get into, you know, pretty much kind of that last, like, game before we get into the really big showdown towards the end. And we have that college grad just totally changed. And because we have a man there who is just really emotional. He came like, why you come to this game with your wife? If both of y'all die, ain't nobody gonna be there for the kids. You should have, one of y'all ass should have came. But, you know, he loses his wife and he just can't take it and he wants to end it. And you have, you know, him really stand up, and it's really nasty, but it kind of makes sense, because you're just thinking from a person's standpoint, like, we really put our body and our life on the line through all of this just to give up and go home now. We've been through too much to go back. But the way that he presented it, and you really see that he's lost all humanity and gives two fucks about a single soul, which is why he was so easily able to switch out those rocks and everything just really changed. Not getting until we walk into a whole obnoxious ass chick just waking up all scot-free, like, yeah, y'all just was jeopardizing y'all life. Y'all was just chilling here trying to make me the all woman out. Didn't nobody want to pick me as their person. Ha! I'll be the weakest link today. Like, oh gosh, I was just waiting for her to go out. But we really get down to less and less people, and I'm just like, help her. Like, somebody do something. There is no way that all of you are gonna make it to the end. Now, at some point we have, you know, a figure with this glittery mask and this whole thing show up, and we are presumed that this is, you know, the leader, and he's just like, you know, take care of my guest. I'm not able to come in right now. Like, just, you know, take care of it. And we don't know who it is at that point, and they do a really good job of us not knowing at all who it was, because I didn't freaking know. But once we get into, you know, our rich man showing up and, you know, their shiny animalistic masks, then we realize that this has just been a whole big ass game of just gambling on human lives. The hostel of it all. Like, this is really what, like, it's like, oh yeah, I had number 99. I had this, I had, like, this is really what you guys have been doing this whole time. This is all, you know, for sports, for fun. And it just really lets you know, where the humanity of some rich can be and some wealthy can be, because they took so much fun in just watching these people die. It was just like they were cattle and their lives did not matter. Up until we get to, you know, the whole situation with the game and the tempered glass and the whole tightrope shit of it all. Like, it was so good the way it was set up. The intricacy of these games were really, really good. Not only do we have Darth Vader, you know, running around being the hostess, we still, you know, have our cop running around trying to inquire, gathering more information, still looking for his brother, you know, all the while, you know, you have a man trying to, you know, finesse him and have him take off his mask and, you know, really engage with him. And, you know, it's just real stank. But we have that going on. But once we get into that last game and we really have, you know, the way they have it set up, you know, the whole numbers and pick a vest, and we have our main character just standing there lingering, like, get your ass, like, when has it ever been good to be first? All up and through these games. You do not want number one. But, you know, it's just like that whole, you know, saving grace, that whole luck aspect. You know, I've never been first in anything in my life. Can I go first? Hell yeah, you can go first. Take it. But you have, I love that. So even though it was gross and we have these rich men and their wealth and they're flaunting and throwing it around and their scotch and their drinks, that whole setup that they had, first of all, everything there was lavish and beautiful. But that whole, you know, body art that they had set up with the women and the painting and the table, and everybody had their own little kind of watch box, their whole little skybox ass type situation. It was really beautiful and well shot. Everything here was really nice. The direction was great. I'm not gonna say his name, but you who directed this shit, you did an awesome job. It was so good. But once we get, you know, into, you know, if they step on that glass and it breaks and you have it kind of be just, you know, a domino effect, it got so good. So once we have, you know, everybody just kind of, and it's just like, damn, I almost made it. All the way until we get to our just most unlikable snake face ass character, and he's just standing there, and you see how in real, like, you're so tough, but when it came down to it, he was such a coward just to go, you know, I'm not moving, I'm willing to sacrifice us all. If you want to go, you bring your ass around and go. And we get, you know, that foreshadowing coming to promise, like, I told you that I was going to kill you. And 9 times out of 10, all of us aren't going to make it that far. I'm willing to sacrifice myself just to take you out. And she holds on to him and takes, you bitch, and takes him out. Such a nice moment. Like, both of y'all get out. But not only do we have that going on, and we have, you know, more people who just can't keep the count of who went where and what's, you know, what's tempered and what's not, and more people die, all the way until we get into our last main players, and it's just like, damn, it's 4 people left, and we have our man, you know, our Daniel-san. Man looked just like Mr. Miyagi. Or not Mr. Miyagi. Remember the grandpa from 3 Ninjas? That's what that man looked like, who was checking that tempered glass and took that marble, like that sad marble that the old man had gave him, you know, like, remember me. And he used it, and it's just like, I can't tell. And once they realize he can tell, they hit the fucking lights, like, so many layers, like, But you have him like he just can, and he's just getting impatient, and Mr. College just can't fucking take it and pushes him. Like, that's what we doing now. Like, it's not even about, you know, the game, and like, even with it was on 2 in the marble game, like, no. He was like, the clock is ticking, yeah. Pow. And they finally, you know, go and make it across, and before they could even breathe, like, they tried to hold them. Like, y'all had to have the glass shatter. And homegirl, like, people getting stabbed. Why? Who asked y'all for that? She didn't deserve that. Her character had came so far. She even told him, you know, get it together. It was that glass, not this one. Let's go. I'm trying to preserve you just like you were preserving me. She got so far as a character, just for y'all to literally stab her in the back. Hated it. Now, once we get into those last episodes, not only is it really intense because we have our 3 team members who have been there the whole time. Not only these team members that we have grown with, but we have 2 people who grew up with each other. We have, you know, Junhao, our pickpocket, who is now stabbed and she hasn't told anybody and she's just really physically bleeding out. And we have them give them these suits like, y'all really gonna have us fight in suits and church shoes like you want us to die. But you have them do that and, you know, bring out this massive feast. And I was like, oh, y'all about to feed them now. It's like, this is a setup at which, you know, you have some of them eating, you know, our female, she just can't take it. She can't stomach. She's literally dying and not saying a word. And they leave them those knives and it's just like, oh shit. Oh shit. But we have, you know, all that intensity happening there, and then we add another layer with, you know, our detective who's gotten pretty much all of his information and he's run off. He's, you know, scuba dive. He's trying to, you know, find signal. It's just so intense. And all the while we have, you know, this masked figure chasing him, and he's just like, you know, even though I didn't find my brother, send the union, I need some help. He's trying to send pictures, but they're so far out that the signal is just not getting through, even though he was able to make a phone call. Once they just actually catch him and we have, you know, hey, don't remove your mask or I'll shoot you, and he removes it and he realizes that it's his actual brother. I knew it was his brother, but it didn't make the scene any less intense. And you have him just feeling like whoo, we have, you know, that sigh of relief, like, come together. Like, no, pow! No, you shot your brother? Shot your brother. We have such a sense of not knowing the motives, which, you know, really gives this big allure to the show. And I'm sure will keep us coming back for more when they do deliver another season. We really want to know what the motives is. You know, we have multiple people remove their masks. You know, it's older man, younger man. Like, it's just like, why are you doing this? How can you participate in this? What did they tell you? Like, how does this work? How do we end up in the green tracksuits, and how do y'all end up being the men on the other side with the guns? Like, what is it? What is going on, you know, inwardly for this man to really shoot his own brother who gave him his kidney? Like, sad. Once we cut back to our other players and them really just watching each other, and I love how the buildup happens and we get less and less beds, less and less people until it's just, you know, the 3 of them and they form, you know, pretty much a triangle. And you have him, you know, go over to check on her. And it's just like, you know, I'm not coming over here for that. And you have him, you know, just really have a sense that she's hurt. And it's just like, you know, let's just make this promise. If, you know, neither one of us makes it, you take care of my family and I'll take care of yours. And it's just like, you know, why are you saying? He realizes she's bleeding out. And you even have him for a moment going over like, yeah, he's changed. He's pushing people. He's killing people. He has no humanity. If it comes between, you know, you, like, he's gonna kill one of us. I'd rather both of us walk up out of here rather than him. And she stops him. She's like, no, that's not you. You're a good person at heart. I'm like, no. Jailhouse. Oz, nigga. Phone check, nigga. Pop, pop. Like, kill him. But he doesn't. And when he realizes, you know, she's bleeding out and he's beating, like, you know, someone come in and help her, somebody save her. He never lost his humanity, no matter what, the entire game. He almost did with the old man, but towards the end, like, he still remained that strong person, that good person. And once he turns around and we realize, you know, he's gotten up and he stabbed her. Like, ain't no coming back from that. Like, and he just, you know, a switch just comes on in him. It's like, you know, how could you do this? And pretty much his explanation is, you know, I feel like you were going to take that moment to, you know, have a majority vote and have us lose this money. I couldn't do that, so I took her ass out. You ever just wanted somebody to slip? I was waiting on his ass to slip. So once we get into our absolutely final episode, it is so good. We are down to literally 2 people, and we're, pretty much back where we started. And there's all this friction between them because, of course, he's not only killed multiple people, but you just killed my friend. And I thought we were friends. Who are you? And even though, I love you and we grew up together and all these things, my mom knows your mom, it's me or you at this point. And you have them actually get into the Squid game, the game that we saw them playing as kids in the very beginning, and them literally fight to the death. It was like, oh gosh, like it was so good. And you have, the rich man, up looking like, yes, like go to hell. But you have them literally going at each other's throat, and you see this switch really cut on in our main character, and it's almost like, is he really going to go through with it and kill him? Is he really going to lose his humanity? Because our friend here, he is holding, no pause. He's trying to stab him, kill him, choke him. He does not care. But once, we have him really, really get that upper hand. And, even though he's been hurt so badly, they both kind of beat each other to a pulp. But once he, really goes for that jugular and he has the opportunity to kill his friend and he doesn't, and he opts to end the game there, it was like, talk about humanity, talk about knowing your self-worth, values, what's important. Am I going to be able to live with myself, with everything that not only we've been through and all the death that I've seen? If I kill you, you were my friend before this game. And at that moment, you have, college dude get a little bit of humanity back, oh, I remember when our mothers used to call us in for supper. Nothing would happen anymore. I was like, yeah. And you have him win that money and he's just really emotional. Like, this is not what I wanted. I was willing to give all that up just to save our friendship, for us to walk out of here together. And he's just really emotional. And you have him end off, asking those questions, and there's just such a sense of loss and why. But you have him thrown out onto the street, and hey, it was all a dream. Get out there with your credit card and spend all your money. And you realize, because once they threw him on the street, y'all, I was like, was it all a lie? They didn't give him no money? But he spits out the card, and it's just like, I really do have that money. But what do I really have? I went through all of this just to get that money, just to fix, my dad, get my daughter, help my mom. But when I get out, what do I really have? Not only is my daughter, still moving, not only do I feel like, the shittiest person in the world, do I feel like I don't deserve this money. Look what we had to go through to get it. Look at all the lives and all the friends that were lost to get it. And then on top of that, you got to stab me in the back when he's walking, and the mom, hey, you seen my son lately? And, take these, this mackerel. And it's just like, oh, like, what do I really have? And then to add whole insult to injury, he gets all the way home, and his mom, who's overworked with, the diabetes in the back, she's dead. It's just like, I have nothing to come back to. So what does the money really mean if I don't have anything to come back to? If I don't have any humanity, everything that I care for outside of money is lost and gone. We even cut to a year later after some more emotions, child. This show sent me through too many emotions. And he's still living the way he did before. He hasn't really spent any of the money. He's still drinking. He has this little beard that they layered on there. And he is just really hopeless. Up until we have, someone come up, with that same black card, and, it's just like, oh, I got the card, it's shiny now, and there's an address on it, and it says, your Goomba, Grandma, whatever the old man called him during the game. And I was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Y'all not gonna do this. Once he gets up there and he gets off the elevator, and we realize that it was the old man still alive, and he did all of this, you facilitated all of this, your ass, I could have shot somebody. I was so mad and shocked. It was such a good feeling, because it was like, no, it was just like a whole gag worthy moment. And it was just like, we were with him. Why? You could have lost your life at any moment playing those games with us. What joy did you get out of this? How could you even get joy out of anything like this? It's just, and it all came down to, not only am I old and I have a tumor, I wanted to have fun. I do this, for a living. It's, kind of, I don't want to be a spectator. I wanted to participate. It wasn't as fun. I wanted to, feel some life before I lost mine. What? But he also is, very adamant about, I didn't make any of you signed up. You guys came voluntarily. So who's the real big problem here? It's still your ass, old man. It's still your sorry ass. And he's just so mad. And we also have, that aspect of the homeless man on the street. And it's just, let's see, how humanity really works. If someone comes and helps him and you still believe in humanity, you won. If no one does, then I win. And I make my point that there is, no hope for humanity. It's all about, money and values as a whole are placed on wrong things. And, hey, I give out my money, I loan out money, I do this, I fuck shit up and leave. And shoot me. Shoot him. I was so mad. But we also feel so vindicated in that moment. And you see him really just feel kind of broken and really feel lost. But once somebody who did see the old man comes back to help and brings the police, and it's just there is hope in humanity, and your ass lost, and I'm gonna go on with my life. Or am I? Because we have him really get that money and really make good on his promises. Because we have after he sacrificed himself and stabs himself in the neck, says help my mom. And he goes and not only leaves her all that money, but he goes and gets, our pickpocket friend. He goes and gets the brother out of the orphanage. After he does a really terrible dye job on his hair, looking like a member of BTS with that horrible wig on. After all that, he really goes and makes good on those promises. And it's just hey, me waddling here and not moving on and feeling guilty is not going to help anything. For the most part, at least I could go and be with my daughter. And he, is about to board and he sees slap on the opposite side of the train. And it's just that humanity kicks in yet again. No, you will not on my watch. You will not do this to another fucking soul. And he chases and he's trying to get him and he just doesn't make it. At which he, takes that card and he's about to board the plane, and it's just can I really go on? Can I really live with myself knowing that they are still doing this to multiple people and people are going in not knowing what's going on? But once you really get there and you really get into the thick of it, it's really hard to choose. Do I really want to walk away from this? And so many people die. And he makes that call and they're like, just go ahead, board that plane. I'm like, oh, they are watching him? Which I put a chip in the man. And it's just I will find you. It gets real taken and I will kill. I'm not stopping. I need answers. I want to know who you are, why you do what you do. I want you to be stopped. I can't go on. I'm not going to board this plane. I'm going to flip around and come find your ass with my fire engine red hair. I'm about that life. Leaving us in anticipation for the season to come. And boy, am I fucking hot. Can't wait. Well, you guys, that was my review for Squid Games. I really, really enjoyed this show. And if you enjoyed it as much as I did, I do recommend Sweet Home. That's also on Netflix. In Alice in Borderland. It's really reminiscent of Squid Games. They coming with the shows, y'all. Dubbed or not, watch them. Because a lot of people, oh, it's dubbed. I just don't have to read. Watch the show. Please drop down and tell me what you thought about this show and what you are anticipating. This show was so good. It was so good. And I want y'all to drop down and tell me what was so good about it. And maybe, some things I didn't cover, because there's so many things to touch on, especially with so many episodes. But I'm not a huge episode to episode reviewer. I like to just kind of get it out and give y'all one big long ass review. But I see you guys next time for my next video. Let's get the conversation going. Bye.